Welcome back to She's All Over the Place, the Women Empowerment Series. I am so excited to have you here. I have a special guest. Her name is Blue Moon. I love her name. I love her vibes, who she is, what she stands for. And with no further ado, we're going to jump in with Blue Moon. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing fabulous. Yeah, how are you?
Great. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. VCon was amazing. And I was at PodFest, speaking there. So conference to conference, gearing up for Austin right now for NFT Connect. So that's really cool.
We just had NFT Berlin last week, and I was a speaker at NFT Berlin. It was really, really fun, actually.
Dope. Tell me
Yeah.
about it because I wish I could. I've never been to Berlin. I really want to go. And so you're in Berlin right now. And tell us how it was for you when you were a speaker.
It's so funny. Well, I'll just say Berlin has not had an NFT conference before. This was our very first one, and it was definitely, community driven. I was pretty impressed by the venue. Berlin is like just a really, really cool city with how much culture it has. It has this like really gritty personality, and yeah, we the conference was at this venue that had this outside part, and they had food trucks there, coffee carts, and then all of the tabling was like out in the open, so everybody was like just like mixing and mingling. And then there was like an indoor part where there were I think there was like four stages, yeah, four stages, I think, where there were speakers rotating. And then there was also this gallery that was really cool. It was called The Cage, if you could imagine, and there were like countless screens all up on all four sides. And then there were just like, I don't know, lights going, and like, I don't know, like a cage atmosphere, like metal everywhere. It was like metal and lights, and then there was like a platform in the middle of the room where you could like stand on the platform and just kind of like do a 360 of the whole room, which was really cool. Originally the plan was to have the hashtag one drop NFTs collection displayed there. Long story short, it didn't happen. It was pretty disappointing to me, and I felt also like, I don't know, I really wanted to come through for the artists as well and have everybody exhibited there. But the person who was arranging the art, if you could imagine like getting all of the NFTs up on like, I don't even know how many screens they had, maybe 30, maybe more. And I think for them it was more work than they anticipated to like coordinate the technological aspects of
Mm,
it, and
mm,
it was too last minute. So
yeah.
yeah, I wasn't the only one who didn't get to show their work, but I made him promise that we are going to have a different exhibition in Berlin, and he's going to help me out with that. So we'll see. But the funny thing is that I didn't even know I was speaking. I thought I was exhibiting, and then somebody told me like, "Oh, I saw you as a speaker," and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." I had submitted an application to speak, but when I had my meeting to talk with them, I was like, actually, what I really want is to exhibit this artwork, this collection. So I was put on the speaker list without my knowledge. And so luckily I already had a presentation prepared from
Yeah.
the talk that I did earlier. And yeah, so we just plugged and went, and I
So,
got it.
okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. I'm just like, So, before NFT Berlin, when I found out about it from you, I hashtag NFT Berlin. I followed them, and I just like was looking at the photos and the vibes of the people. So anyone who's listening, who's tuning in, if you want to see what Blue Moon's just talking about, maybe just hashtag NFT Berlin, and you can see a visceral videos maybe on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram to see what's going on, so we can actually like have a sensorial experience and know that's going on. The other thing is like, so One Drop NFTs, I'm a part of the curation. You hosted me, which I was so grateful for, my 11 pillars on Hailair in January. And then that's when you made the announcement and you introduced One Drop and the vibes of what it is. And you invited me, and I raised my hand. I said, yes, 1000%. And so we've been on this journey since the beginning of January of 2022, impact the Web3 community. And I'm going to have you share a bit about that. So, what is One Drop? How many artists are involved? And let's just start there.
Yeah. One Drop NFTs is a movement to destigmatize menstruation through discussion and through art. So, back it up to the end of last year, and I was coming on officially as a founding partner of ntent.art, which is the artist collective that I'm a part of here in Berlin. We're an art, tech, and sustainability forward NFT artist collective. Pretty small now, but we're working on scaling up. But I was thinking about, how do I want to show up as an artist in the NFT world? I definitely
Yeah.
want to be showing up in a way where I am giving more than I am taking. And I want to come in and I want to make a statement about something that matters. And so I was thinking about, just, I don't know, ideas for stuff that I've been wanting to do for a while. And there's just something that I've noticed for a long time, for many years now, which is a censorship of menstruation and stigma against it. If you think about, a stigma against menstruation in the United States, for
Yeah.
example, at first it might seem like, but women are free, and there's like tampons and pads and menstrual cups and period panties, like it's like there's a supply, endless supply of them. You can pick them up anywhere and you can talk about your period, it's fine. And like, but then when you actually like dig deeper and down, get a little bit under the surface, there's a lot of issues around menstruation that we have in the United States. And that's just starting in the United States, not to mention plenty of countries where there's a huge stigma, or where there's not even access to feminine hygiene products. And and I just thought, we need to be able to talk about menstruation, because it is not only super normal, it's also very natural. And so that we can get to, let's say, destigmatize, remove the shame that a lot of us feel around it, and also start to have conversations to help people who are really suffering because of their menstruation. So I always say that One Drop NFTs is a inclusive movement. I don't care what kind of body you have, male or female, or anywhere in between, or if you menstruate or not. We all have stories about menstruation, and that is what we're here to share with each other. And through that process of sharing the stories, we get to chip away at the stigma and help to make it a more open and safe space to talk about it and to address the issues. So,
Yes.
some of the issues, for example, might be period poverty, or let's say the pink tax, which is that feminine hygiene products are something that you have to pay money for, period. And some people have to make a decision between buying feminine hygiene products or getting food, for example. But also, on top of that, the feminine hygiene products are taxed as luxury goods in the United States. So there's a pretty high tax rate for them. And it just, I mean, the eyes rolling to the back of my head, like it's just so extra. And that is one thing that we can tackle there. But another issue also is people suffering with conditions like PCOS or endometriosis,
What's
march
PCOS?
polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah.
So that can cause a lot of issues in a person's body. But also, I didn't know until I started Menstrual Mondays, which is my weekly Twitter Spaces show where anybody's welcome to come and share their stories, how very common.
And what
And
is your Twitter handle? It'll be in the show notes, but what's your Twitter handle so people can follow you?
my Twitter handle is Blue Moon. It's BLUEM0xn. And the 0x, for the uninitiated, is a little wink, because it is the beginning of everybody's Ethereum address. So anything that's kind of like 0x, it's like an extra layer of
Ah,
web3.
you're just such a genius. Ugh, love that. And just so you know, I'm like looking when we were only 8 minutes in, I'm like moved to tears. I'm like, "Oh my god." So I'm like so dropped in, but I just want to say like Menstrual Mondays, I've wanted to be at every single one. I support every single one. I set out a good intention, but the ones that I have been in, it's just the stories I've heard from other people. And then not that I'm comparing, cuz comparing's a death threat, but like I've had my isolations. I've been able to share my stories. I was able to contribute two NFTs, one love poem, and then another one maybe we'll talk about in the near future here. But I've been able to listen to these other stories and be like, not only feeling on one side so isolated and so alone with my shortcomings that I thought were shortcomings from things that I didn't know, but then also hear other people's stories to hold space and listen, and then not feel alone, and then also be in gratitude that the what I thought was bad was maybe not as bad. Not that I'm comparing, but just in gratitude, because sometimes we need a little whiff of like what we have, because we're so hard on ourselves, but then also like acknowledge other things that are out there that people are growing through, that they've done, that isn't my journey. So it's like just a way to have more, instill more gratitude and then more compassion for other people, and that's why I wanted to extend flowers and extend myself to other things that we've talked about, that we'll talk about in the near future, to produce this further. But let's just start right here. So you were saying menstrual Mondays, how you started it, why you started it, and where
Yes.
you were going.
Yeah, thank you so much for those kind words. Yeah, so I, came up with the idea of hashtag one drop NFTs, the movement to destigmatize menstruation through discussion and art. So the first part is discussion. We talked about the Twitter spaces. Anybody can come and join my Menstrual Mondays Twitter spaces. I have them every Monday at 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we usually go for about 2 hours. And I gotta say, we've definitely cultivated a cool community. There's so many people who come back week after week, and we've gotten to know each other so much. And to a certain extent, I love having new people come, because it's like new people come and they share their stories. It feels really fresh. And then also, we have the people who are coming back week after week, and we just get to know each other and get to check in about how stuff is going in their lives. And yeah, that's been really, really wonderful. And
Mm.
it's gotten to a point also where we're talking about stuff that's like a little bit maybe adjacent to menstruation, any what I would call like maybe gender related issues. This week, or yeah, recently, we had a menopause themed episode, and that was so much fun. Actually, I haven't laughed in one of the spaces so much in a while, and it was also just like very sweet and raw as well. It was just a good episode. So,
Something, while it's on top of mind, I just want to share with you, because we are in the Web3 community and NFTs and collaborations. And what's stemming from the other stuff we talked about is Julie Pacino. You know Julie, right? Ju-
uh,
Ju-
it sounds
she's the
familiar.
Julie Pacino. She's the first person to raise funds in crypto for a feature film that's being shot in the fall.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, so a couple things. One, she also has, I'll send you the link. She also has a link where she's doing a grant for like someone's short film. So I think what's happening here with all the stories you have in such a particular way, maybe not the specific person of the story, but maybe you could get you do a pitch idea, like a one deck. I can talk to you about it, but like a deck and pitch to have a grant to make it a short film for the blockchain. One. The other thing is DCP, Decentralized Pictures. It's Francis Ford Coppola's company. They made a Web3 film fund, the first film fund, and with Steven Soderbergh, they have partnerships with a lot of different film folks. They're giving $300,000 in grants for people to make their films. So maybe we could produce something together, like about all these ideas, to do a video pitch, a content pitch, and maybe to put this into like a short film or a film or something like that, or a documentary.
Yeah, that would be awesome. A documentary would be a really, really amazing. Yeah, let's put it on the docket and
Okay.
yeah, keep
Okay.
working. I guess the thing that I'm kind of working towards is like a Web3 version of the vagina monologues. And so
Ooh.
because the vagina monologues, as if if anybody doesn't know, it's like a play where people come and they recite these monologues that are written by other people, or maybe they work on their own. I don't know how it works exactly. Do you know much about it?
I think my friend Dylan McDermott, I think it's his mom's. I think his mom created it.
Wow, that's
I've s
crazy.
I know. But yeah, I've seen it over a decade ago. I've seen it multiple times because there's different stories, but I think
Yeah.
she's the one that created it, Dylan McDermott's mom, yeah.
And I think they also have workshops with the actors, and they also kind of work on their own like process with, I don't know, talking about their own experiences too. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to incorporate, that's what acting and storytelling is. It's life imitating art imitating life, which one's
Mhm.
reality, right?
Yeah.
Storytelling. So you have to bring ourselves to the story, right? When you're
Yeah.
storytelling, we have to bring our well, we get to bring our experiences that makes it more endowed and rich. So, but I love that. I love to so to put a like a palette of like, oh, it could be like
Yeah,
this
like a
genre
context.
or something like context. Yeah. Vagina
Yeah.
monologues. Love that.
And then, like, this is where the Web3 part comes in. It's super community driven, right? And, Web3 is all about community. NFTs are all about community, but it's also about ownership. And so one can own a piece of the vagina monologues, for example, but it's not vagina monologues. So you can own it's like owning a piece of vagina monologues, but in this case, it's hashtag one drop NFTs. And you can be proud that you're supporting period poverty charities and also working to established, because this is like where I'm trying to take it in like the next phase. We have season 1 of the official One Drop NFTs collection, but there have been other artists who've come forward who want to make art also for the official collection. And so I'm like, let's make a season 2. Let's make a season 2 and then let's take these NFTs, this artwork that's so powerful, telling such amazing stories. One person actually was telling me, I was in another space, and she said that she was so moved by your poem that you had read in the space, and it had inspired her to make her own piece. I posted it on my Twitter recently.
Oh,
Um,
you didn't
yeah,
tag me? I didn't see it.
I didn't tag you.
Oh, okay, because I would have reposted it.
I know, I'm so sorry.
That's what I live for. I live to inspire people. It's why I have the show, to inspire people. Like, but see, whether you know you're a part of the ripple effect, we know we're a part of the ripple effect. But it's
Yeah.
nice to have that acknowledgement every once in a while or every day. Just kidding. But no, that's great to hear.
Yeah, I reposted your poem in the Twitter space and then I retweeted the art that she made. It wasn't directly inspired by your poem, but she said
Yeah.
she was really moved when you read it, which was like
Oh,
so cool.
yeah.
um but
1000.
but yeah, so yeah, anyway, what I was saying, Web3 is all about ownership. You get to own a piece of the One Drop NFTs collection and just like own a part of that impact, which is so cool.
And then for someone tuning in who maybe doesn't know what an NFT is, what is an NFT?
NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it is a lot of times what we're talking about is art on the blockchain. So non-fungible means that it can't be broken up into different parts. So for example, you can break up a dollar into cents, right? But you wouldn't want to break up a Picasso painting, for example. So the NFTs are really special because it gives digital art provable ownership on the blockchain, whereas in the past digital art wasn't able to prove ownership of something. You could right click save pretty much anything. Now there is a way that you can do verifiable proof of ownership because there's one single point of truth that this one item is owned by this particular wallet. This is a game changer for anybody who's selling digital art because now suddenly it has value because it can't be like multiplied infinity times. There's only one real one.
Yeah, love that, love that. And let's talk about with the NFT, the utility behind it, right? So it's like it's almost like the NFT that can be a JPEG, MP3, MP4 video, but it's actually like when you get the NFT, it's like getting a ticket to be a part of a community, to go to a concert, to get like, the swag bags and the cool perks that come along with it. So what really excited me when I read the Google document of the utility of like what it was paying forward to, the sustainability, the planting of a tree. So let's talk about that. Like with these one drops, with the people who mint and purchase this NFT, the collection, the one drop NFTs, which will be in the show notes. So the person tuning in can buy one. And by the way, Blue Moon is just flawless and glowing. So we are doing a video on YouTube. So if you head over to Katie Chinaga's YouTube, you can definitely pop in and see it on the video. I definitely almost forgot to mention that. Yeah, so let's talk about the utilities with this specific collection, please.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned the charity component. Like I said before, I didn't want to go in taking more than I gave. And actually, with all of this, with the spaces and with the minting of the collection, I'm not making any money from it. We have 80% going to a period poverty fund. We have 15% going to a sustainability fund, or we say it goes to the planet. So that's 10% that goes to a sustainability fund, plus 200% carbon offsets and planting at least one tree per mint. That 15% to the planet goes for everything that we mint on ntent.art, period. And then 5% for administration fees, because not everybody knows this, but it's actually kind of expensive to launch a project on Ethereum. The contract fees, like we have to pay for gas to launch a contract and do like back end testing and stuff like that. So that's where that 5% goes. But I'm not making any money personally. I really wanted this to be just like 100% giving of my heart.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it isn't just, your average charity project, because there is utility that comes with it. And for those of you guys who don't know, utility is kind of like extra benefits that comes with the NFT that you buy. So now that we have verifiable proof of ownership on the blockchain, we can verify that like this person, this wallet owner owns this particular NFT. So they can get special access to communities. You can get tickets for stuff. And one thing that we like to do at Intent.art is reward our holders. And so everybody who owns a piece from Intent.art right now actually can get a free claim of Fluorescence by Dr. Benton Banner, which is this like beautiful piece of artwork. Somebody described it as like a gemstone, and it almost looks like a gemstone, but like painted in like a digital watercolor or
A
something.
waterfall. It looks like a digital
Yeah.
waterfall. I claimed mine last week. I got this fluorescent one. I claimed mine last week, and so I got to claim one because I, was in a Twitter Spaces with like Nifty Castle and DBs. Yeah, everyone was in there, and it was GWA's collection, and my essence, my presence, like gravitated to sustainability and the cool encoding and how it was moving. And you can talk a little bit about that more, which will be awesome. But that's how I got like brought in. But the utility behind it is also like, if you're attracted to it, the friendships, right? So we're friends now,
Mhm.
and like I'm a part of what's happening. And GWA did something for Ukraine, limited edition NFTs. You did something for Mother Earth for Earth Day, and I'm always celebrating and doing things for Earth Day, and I participated, and I got an airdrop, and now I'm going all over the place. But let's circle back around and let's talk about the formation of intent.art, how the curation happened, and then let's talk about GWA's collaboration. It was a limited edition of like 67, right? It was only a limited, or maybe I got number 67, but it was a limited edition.
Yes, I will tell you all about all of our collections. Like, sit right back. I'll tell you the story of the formation of Intenta Art, the artist
Yeah.
collective based in Berlin. So, Jiwa is a brilliant dev, like software developer, software engineer, crypto artist. He's definitely an artist at heart, and he uses creative code as his like paintbrush, as you will, his medium. We also have Dr. Benton Banner, who's a brilliant multidisciplinary artist. He can do like pretty much anything. And so they were working together on a creative agency during the pandemic. And at some certain point, they noticed that NFTs were kind of taking off, and they had built this software to make generative video for ads for sustainable companies so that they could buy generative video at scale for use as content for their social media platforms. And because it's generative, we could give them a lot of content, or they could give them a lot of content at once. Yes.
And what is generative for the person tuning in who may not understand what that is yet?
Yeah, we use this term generative to describe art that's made with a computer, for example. So, in the sense that we're talking about the pieces of content that I was just talking about, let's say you wanted to make an ad for a soda can. Well, there's like, I don't know, you could make different aspect ratios for use on different platforms, because some platforms prefer, let's say on YouTube, you have the like 16:9, but on Instagram it's like a square or something. So we could render the video in the different aspect ratios with different colors or maybe different effects, maybe with the different flavors of the soda that you have. We could make all of those different versions of the video, like just spin them up in a day. So this is the technology that they had been working on for the creative agency. The NFT world started taking off, and meanwhile they're just like, man, like we're artists, like we don't want to be making this.
And you said during the pandemic, which year was this?
Yeah, this was the pandemic in 2020 or like
Okay.
2019.
Okay. Because I mean, we're still in it, but like, I
Yeah.
was just, yeah. So they decided in 2020 to get together.
They had been working together since before the pandemic. So I think they started working together in 2019. And then during the and they had been taking clients, they had work, like it was all fine. But I think, the pandemic, the lockdown that we all experienced, I think a lot of people were really questioning what they were doing with their lives and their time. And like, are you really doing something that is, following your passions? And they're both artists at heart. So when the opportunity came to like let all the existing contracts just kind of end and then pivot, not just a creative agency, but artists and an artist collective making NFTs with this generative technology that they had already developed. So then that was the very beginning of ntent.art. I came on at the very end of 2021. So they had been working together for a little bit before that. We launched our Genesis collection in December 2021, around the time that I came on. And this is a collection of 666 generative photography pieces. To my knowledge, this is the very first animated generative photography collection in NFTs. And these were really beautiful. They're based on classic art, but like layered with like all of these different textures and colors. And they're just like gorgeous pieces of art, like individually. But these are the access token to the intent ecosphere. And one of the cool utilities that they have.
Real quick, where was it minted on?
We have our own website. So the Neovitas, you can mint them on our own website. It's ntent.art, and intent has no I. So it's ntent.art. We minted those on our platform. Those sold out. And yeah, so they could come with a really cool utility, which is that you can burn them for any future piece on the intent.art platform. And that's been really fun to see, people burning their pieces when new collections come out. And it also makes the rarity of the collection a bit variable, because let's say there's a trait that is like not rare at all. If a lot of those pieces get minted, it could go to being like the most rare, for example. And I think as the pieces go on to get burned, they could become more valuable. I don't want to say this is not financial advice, but yeah, they could become more scarce, and people like to collect scarce things. So that was our Genesis collection. And then we went on with our second piece, which is Dissipation by Jiwa. And he's a live generative code artist, like I mentioned before. And the Dissipation is really, really cool because it's clickable. It changes every time you click on it. And it's also responsive to the size and shape of the window that it's in. So if you go to our website and you look at the Dissipation page, there's like a full screen option to look at it in full screen, and you can like get it on a full screen and then like change it around to like whatever size that you want, which is really cool. And yeah, but the meaning behind it is the best part, which is that especially in the Web3 world, in the NFT world, there's always something that's grabbing our attention, and something that's just like by me. And we have FOMO about certain collections. And this collection by Jiwa has like all of these like blinking eyes and candy colored crazy like backgrounds. And the idea is that whatever you want, it enters through the eyes and then it dissipates, and then you're just like left with this very balanced feeling, not overcome with craving or FOMO. And
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, I think it's maybe written about a little bit more eloquently on the website, but that's
Yeah.
the meaning behind the piece. And yeah, so that collection is really really cool. It's actually still minting. It's not a limited mint. I think or it
Okay.
is a limited mint. Mhm.
Mine says, "Oh, this one," because I had a custom. I won a custom in one of the rooms. So this is a custom for Saint Kiriaki with love from ntent.art family. Opening the eyes while clearing your mind and energy allows you to truly let loose and feel good vibes with the Z. And it says disso, and then
It's a
it's like,
PFPs.
yeah, PFPs, just a PFPs is a community project to have fun, give back to the community, and shout out Dissipation by GWA and some of our favorite PFP projects. And it says,
Yeah.
be happy.
So Disappear of Peas is actually a separate collection that we made, and we really, like I said, or like it said in the page, we really wanted to give back to the community, and we wanted to do something cool and get people hyped to mint Dissipations. And so we made these Disappear of Peas, and we took this IP, all of these different PFP projects that we have rights to, and like made them into dissipations basically. So they're like dissipation mashups with our favorite PFP projects. So yeah, those were really fun to give out, and they're on a Polygon contract. So Polygon is a side chain for Ethereum, which is very 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 low costs, which makes it really cheap for us to mint and also to give away. We don't have to pay a lot of gas fees, and I love it because it is not
Yeah.
only more economical, but it's also more eco-friendly because it uses less energy to send all of that stuff around. So,
Right. And
yeah.
although it's on Polygon, I see it in my OpenSea like main wallet. So
Yeah, that's because Polygon is like it's an L2, I think, for Ethereum, which means that it shows up wherever Ethereum is being used.
love that. And real quick, it says my discipline number 68, fight or flight. And they tell us there is no third option. And then there's coding. Acknowledge it or not, we are all seekers. Seeking without practice brings desires that directly cause coding, unhappiness, coding, coding, coding. Happiness is always within grasp. A seeker can view life as a colorful as they choose to see it. More coding in between. Each piece is generative at mint, deterministic, unique, responsive, and interactive. Open in full screen. Play with the sizing. Give the piece more coding, span, class, reveal, click, span, IMG class, reveal image. With practice, desire will enter past quickly and dissipate. The properties for this generative mint are concurrent thoughts. Don't want a stupid fucking Lambo. My journey only seems like a maze. Need peace, aura, vibes, virtue, stability, last past life. Third century. Witness the creation of the moon. In being coy, she says, a lady never tells. Project Dissipation. So I loved it. I'm a poet, so I'm like, "Yo," and it resonated with me in so many different ways, and then obviously when you read it, you pick up new things of how it's a mere reflection and goes with us through the journey of life. So I felt it was really apropos with the one that I received, and, I was right about following my intention of, being a part of the community, so thank you.
Love that. Yeah. What is the coding though? I think maybe
All
something's kind of
screen?
showing up weird on your, yeah, screenshot
Oh,
and send it to me because I'm looking at the site here and I don't have any weird coding stuff.
alright, I'm just sending it to you in the DM.
All right, cool. Thanks.
I thought it was a part of the
No, I
vibes.
mean, that would be cool, but I don't think it's supposed to be like that.
Good to know, good to know, good to know. Okay,
But we
so
do have like a coding vibe to the
yeah,
site, and yeah,
yeah.
with all the generative art or like the coding art, yeah, it would make sense.
then let's move into Earth Day. And I'm always advocating and doing things for Earth Month, Earth Day, being aware, mindfulness, like all year round and amplifying it with the energies. And you had a curation and you're a boss lady producer and, a boss producer and put it out there and selected, I think, 7 people to take action upon certain things. And then you were doing gifted NFTs. So let's talk about how you made it a really fun Earth Day with gifts. I told you, I'm like, oh, I already do this stuff, but you made it more fun.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring something special to Earth Day and make people think a little bit about their presence in Web3, but also in the Earth. And so I made a challenge, and now I'm like, I don't even remember what the challenge was. Do you remember? I'm like searching for it on my.
It was stop the money pipeline. And
That's
then for
right.
people to take action, sign up, take a screenshot, post it. And I already did it. Like they were already on my podcast from a green initiative project where John Opperman was already talking about stop the money pipeline. And so I was like on the same page as you. So I was like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
cool.
amazing. That is
Yeah.
so cool. I think that activism is so important and like kind of like underrated and also easy. And so I wanted to make a challenge to get people involved in Earth Day. And I thought, we could go out and I could say pick up 10 pieces of trash. But is it really making a change? I think that's kind of more of a band-aid, right? When we really want to make a change in the environment, it's really going to have to come down to policy and working on a systematic level and as opposed to an individual level, because at the end of the day I think a lot of us would be making very different choices if that was the easiest choice. We need to make the right choice the easiest choice to make. It's going to take a lot of work for us to get there. And so that's why I wanted to highlight a petition signing or letter sending or something, like some kind of activism that is really, really important, but also really simple to do. And so my challenge to the NFT community was to sign this petition and then send proof that they did it. And then I would reward them with an NFT. And for anybody who's like, oh, aren't NFTs bad for the environment? I have a whole spiel. I think that's like another episode that we can go on. But the NFT that I was gifting was a Polygon NFT that has a very, very, very minimal impact on the environment. Um, it doesn't take a lot of energy to make or to send.
So really
So
quick, I mean, it's probably a lot, but just really quick, if someone's like, oh, I want to do that and I want to mint on Polygon, how can someone do that? How can they put a project on Polygon?
actually, I don't know. I mean, I have access to Brilliant Coder in my own home. So he was able to put together a Polygon contract. But I guess you would want to find a person who can write a smart contract on Polygon. But I don't know like so much the ins and outs of that. I'm
Okay.
like less on the coding side and
Yeah.
more on community development
Cool.
side.
Well, I do know for the person wondering, I'm not sure if Manifold XYZ does smart contracts for Polygon, but I know they do smart contracts and you can make your own smart contract. So definitely check out Manifold XYZ. I'll put it in the show notes. And I'll also have John Opperman's episode in the link too if you want to deepen more to sustainability and things we were talking for about Earth Day and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, this is like alpha, it's like super secret information. But one thing that we want to do with ntent.art is to make it open for artists to make artist profiles on intent. And I think the trade off is just like, why intent? We'll have it built into the smart contract that 15% goes to the planet. We're doing our due diligence for taking care of the planet while we're working. I don't think that NFTs are any more polluting than like working in almost any other industry. But I do think that we all need to be taking responsibility. And like even artists can do that too. So our smart contract makes it really easy for them to do it. And our idea is to make it possible for artists to make artist profiles on our page. And also potentially, I'm pretty sure we can have artists minting their own pieces on intent.art. But that's like way far in the future. There's a lot of work that we have to do to get to that place,
Watch
but
out, Google. Watch out, Google. I love this. I'm moved. I just want to like, I'm crying deep down because there are a lot of people who, it's a lot for them or they don't want to spend the money to have their own smart contract, but it's a safe,
yeah.
intentional, sustainable, trustworthy platform that you're curating for people and being a ripple effect, which is that's what she's all over the place is about. So I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. Honing in here, any last words you want to say about one drop of it'll be in the show notes where people can mint one drop. I don't know how many are left in the collection because I know a lot have sold already. So, but if people want to onboard and get a part of it, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to read about OneDrop, you can go to intent.art/redpaper. And so it's NTENT/REDPAPER. That's where you can find an article that has all of the basic information about OneDrop and some of the things that I saw in the real world that inspired me. There's also a link for you to submit art for season 2. And this will probably be more of a curated collection. So it's a more of like a submission for like application, I guess you could say. And then if you want to mint a one drop, you can go to intent.art/one drop and that will take you to our minting page and you can mint from there. They cost 1 ETH. I think you can also pay in Ash or Ape, which are two other ERC20 tokens, and you can even gift them too. We have a special gifting feature on our page where you can pay from one wallet and send it directly to another wallet, which is a cool idea if you want to send it an NFT, or if you have most of your currency in one wallet but you want to store it, let's say, on your cold wallet, like a wallet that's a little bit safer from nefarious internet activity.
Wow. Well, shout out to the dev team, to the tech team who have all that aligned. It's so important to have that clear line of communication in those setups. That's like super advanced. And the first time I've heard of that thus far, being
Yeah,
in the
not a
space.
lot of
So
places have it.
that's really cool. Wonderful. Blue Moon, thank you so much for being on the show. You added a lot of value, your graceful impact. I'm so excited. And I definitely want to invite you to come back on the show in the near future. It'd be amazing to have you.
That would be my pleasure. This has been so much fun chatting with you as always. And thank you so much for all of the amazing work that you're doing in Web3, and giving other people a voice also with your podcast and all the cool art that you're making. It's so cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at NFT NYC, which we didn't even talk about.
Oh
But
my
it,
god,
I
we
think,
didn't even talk about it. So we'll have to have you back on so we can like do a post and
yeah,
we'll like
let's do
go
a
back and
recap.
forth. I did a VCon recap by myself and it was 50 minutes long. Just I'm not kidding. And but there's still so much. So it's like, yeah, we'll have to have you on and do a recap. You'll be the very third person to know that I am the very first actor headshot on the blockchain and I am holding space for actors so they can be sovereign beings. And I'm going to curate it as I go along, but I'm not going to release a bunch of headshots. I'm just going to first release one headshot on the blockchain. I'm like a numbers girl. So I think I'm going to do 111, but I have like 20, 30 people that are like real close to me. So you're one of those people. So if you want, I'll be like, yo, what's your public wallet? Do you want an airdrop? I'm going to gift X amount of this NFT of the very first headshot on the blockchain. And then the rest of the people who like aren't the homies or who just want to be a part of the collection can pick up the rest. But I think I'm gonna do like 111 or something. I don't
Love
have the
it.
number. You heard it here, but you're the third person to know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So NFT NYC is going to be dope. So
Yeah.
I will see you there.
Yeah, 1,000. And then also, because we didn't mention it, because we mentioned Menstrual Mondays on Mondays with your Twitter, but Intent.art also has spaces in rooms, right? Is it weekly or bi-weekly or
Yeah,
twice
that's
a week
right.
or once a
So
week?
we're taking a hiatus right now, but we're going to
Okay.
pick up right after NFT NYC, and those are on Tuesdays at I think 9 a.m. Actually, we changed the time.
Okay.
They're on Tuesdays. It'll be on my Twitter banner once I figure it out.
Okay. And then I'm gonna have all these in the show notes, but do you have like one link where they can get to like all the links we're talking about? Menstrual Mondays, the intent show, the minting, the reading. Is that all on like one link? Your
I
Twitter,
think it's
Dr.
the
Banner's Twitter.
I'll
Jiwa.
send you all the links, but I don't have it all on one page.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. We'll make that happen. Rock and roll. Any last words of wisdom before we roll out?
I think for anybody who's in Web3 or wants to get in Web3, I think the best thing to do right now is to think about what kind of impact you want to make on the blockchain. This is a place where we can have a huge impact because we're so early. And so I think a lot of people are thinking about making money, and paying bills is important, but 100% see if you can maybe make some paradigm shifts in your work in Web3.
Yeah, instead of being busy wasting time with what we're already knowing and doing, to allow some space and time for curiosity to learn a new way, because the money will come in the near future. But what I want to say about that is, a lot of people, we feel pressured and isolated to do it alone. And like you said, it's community driven, so we can be vulnerable with our weakest link. We can come to the spaces, we can connect, we can meet the people, and we can do it together and do our own research. But we can do these projects together. It's not another thing that we are going to do in the world like alone. Like, we can join. And that's with the menstrual Mondays. Like, you have these deep impactful friendships and projects that you align to, in these communities that we align to. So that's the psychology of like shifting into the new way of Web3, and being for the longevity of humanity and our health, and where we want the world to really grow to.
I'm dropping the mic, everybody. That's it. That's it.
We did it! And we
Yes.
are gonna make it happen at NFT NYC. I'm so
Let's
excited.
go.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Cheese All Over the Place. Check out the links below. Definitely subscribe if you're not subscribing already. And congratulations to you. Because of you, we are in the top 1.5% of all podcasts globally, out of almost 3 million podcasts. So, yeah,
That's
season
crazy.
2, we became 5% of all podcasts. We held it through season 4. And as of like 4 weeks ago, we're now in the 1.5 top percent podcast. And I'm sure it's gonna like get into that 0.5% in no time because of you. And I have a merch line, so Chonacas, you'll see in the links below, chonacas.com. Pick up some merch. She's all over the place merch. Just if you pick up 3 pieces or more, you just screenshot it, send to me. I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. And I have Sabat's Tokyo Punks, and my 90s babe, and Jimena Bunavita, and I from Colombia, our friend. We did a collaboration together, so we have merch line available too. So pick up the merch. I will be wearing it at NFT NYC like a boss. And that's it. That's all we have for you. And we will see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.